There have been a few days where Nebraska's passing game has been as inept as today, but there have been very many. Hello, everybody. Sam McKewon with the Omaha World-Herald and Husker Extra. Nebraska loses 20-13 to Minnesota. The Huskers led 10-0 at halftime, dominated the first half in a lot of different ways, and then just kind of fell apart in the second half as Minnesota's backup quarterback, the guy that replaced Tanner Morgan, who was sacked by Ty Robinson at the end of the first half, he was a little bit more mobile. Minnesota's offense moved a little quicker, and they had a lot more success. Minnesota had, 31 yards in the first half. In the second half, they had 269, and they scored 20 points. Nebraska's offense, on the other hand, had a pretty good first drive, mostly on the ground, scored a touchdown. Then Chubba Purdy, who was the starting quarterback today, had a couple of scrambles on the second drive, gave Nebraska a 10-0 lead, and from that point forward, I don't know if Casey Thompson can come back this season. But they could really use him because the gap between Casey and Chubba Purdy, who is clearly the favorite quarterback of the offensive coordinator, Mark Whipple, is vast. And Whipple was unwilling to play Logan Smothers until late into this game. And even then, he put him in for one drive and then benched him again and then brought him back. Smothers got a field goal out of that drive. And then here at the end, Trey Palmer dropped a pass in Minnesota territory that ended Nebraska's chances of winning. But, man, even Smothers missed some throws, man. This is an offense that depends on throwing the football, and with Purdy and Smothers, they are really, really struggling. I'm not sure what exactly Nebraska's been doing with its backup quarterbacks all season long based on the performance today. Because most of what Nebraska was trying to do today was run the football, throw little 4- and 5-yard dump passes to tight ends and receivers, and occasionally try to throw it downfield. That didn't go very well. And at the end of the day, Nebraska's offense pretty inept. After those first couple of drives, they had 151 yards at halftime. They end with 267, so they ended up with 116 yards in the second half. But I haven't seen a Nebraska offense look this just not capable in some time. Maybe the day Tommy Armstrong was playing on one hamstring at Iowa, maybe back in 2010 when all the quarterbacks got hurt and Rex Burkhead had to play Wildcat for a half. I don't know. There's not been a lot of games where I thought Nebraska's passing offense really couldn't hang, but it could not hang today. And this has been a kind of an odd week, right? Nebraska lost badly to Illinois. Mark Whipple explained bizarrely what happened with the game last week when Thompson got hurt and Purdy's playing and he wasn't really ready. He didn't look really that ready today after the first couple of drives. And then all the coaching scuttlebutt that showed up on Thursday. Is Nebraska about to make a move? I'm telling you now. Nebraska losing this game, they're going into a hurt locker against Michigan, Wisconsin, and Iowa. All three of those teams are hitting their stride. You may not like Iowa, but Iowa kicked Purdue's butt today, and Wisconsin beat a pretty good Maryland team today pretty handily. So Nebraska's going into just a painful stretch here. So you better turn the page pretty fast if you're athletic director Charles Albertson, figure out who the coach is going to be and get that thing announced around Thanksgiving, because I think it's going to get pretty rough around here. They had another sellout today. The crowd was a little bit smaller, and I have a hard time believing it's going to be real big for Wisconsin, given the fact of what may happen next week at Michigan. Nebraska's offense needs something. And if Casey Thompson can't play, man, I don't know what you're doing. Wing T, triple option, got to figure out something, because you're not throwing the football downfield against some of the defenses that you're playing on from here. They weren't able to really throw the football downfield today against Minnesota. As good as that first half went, and as good as Nebraska's defense played, they wore down. And you're going to wear down when your offense is going out there and 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Nebraska's defense played very hard. They played pretty well, but ultimately they wore down and they could not handle the athleticism and the, sort of the mobility of the backup quarterback for Minnesota. If Morgan stays in there the whole game, who knows? But at the end of the day, Minnesota pulls out a win. They're moving toward a bowl game. Nebraska has to win its last 3 games to make a bowl game. I don't like their chances to do that. I think we are now turning the page to a new era in Nebraska football. I don't know exactly who the head coach is going to be, but they've got a lot to clean up because this roster needs a lot of help, and it's nowhere near winning the Big Ten. So some incentive-laden contract that might roll out where you're going to pay a guy a little bit and you're going to give him a lot of money for winning the Big Ten. That's going to be a tough sell. Nebraska's got a lot of work to do on offense. They're tough on defense. A lot of work to do on offense. They lose today, 20-13. All right, I'm Sam McKewon with the Omaha World-Herald and Husker Extra.